Representative, welcome back to the program. I want to ask you about something that the UT President Jay Hartzell said the other day in his statement. He said, quote, "Our rules matter," talking about the campus, "and they will be enforced. Our university will not be occupied." What's your reaction to that?
I think the way the university and our officers, DPS officers, responded was reckless and put our students in harm's way. I understand there are rules, but the university inviting in DPS troopers on horseback, from what I could tell, looked to be about 100 to confront peaceful protesters who had not broken any laws. That was uncalled for. It was reckless, and it put our kids in harm's way.
Have you heard from the university president at all in your official capacity?
I've talked to him, yes.
And did you express this, and what did he say?
Yes, I did have a very candid conversation with him about this, and he said that the events happening across the country on other college campuses are what inspired him to invite DPS officers onto our campus. And my response to that is, yes, we are all seeing sensationalized news from across the country, but we know our community. We know this community at UT Austin. And from what we experienced, from what we know, these were peaceful protesters. And the state cannot take a preemptive act of arresting people, Texans, because they fear they're going to commit a crime. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And the freedoms, the liberties of our students were violated.
Did the president express any regret to you, or did he stand by his decision to invite in DPS?
He did not express regret.
The university denied the group permission to protest. Was it a mistake for this group to go forward with that without permission?
Look, here's what I know. Students protest. I did it when I was at UT on the campus. We occupied with a sit-in, UT Law School. Jesse Jackson came to that town. It was a big to-do. And the administration sensibly just ignored us, and it passed. We spoke our piece, and I'm not sure if they took any action with respect to the issue we were protesting, but it did not escalate into an event like yesterday. And so the real issue here, I think, is, did the university act in the best interest of students? And I think it did not. I think it truly put the university community in jeopardy. I think, and I know, and I heard directly from students and professors and staff, they were scared. Many times they felt trapped by officers because they were kind of corralled and surrounded by officers, could not leave to go to their class. This was anything but de-escalation. You had officers pushing with riot shields, peaceful student protesters. And so it was a really sad moment for our university and for our state. These students just wanted to be heard. They have a right to be heard, regardless of the rules. That's protected by the Constitution and state statute. Above all else, they were a threat to no one. They were engaging in peaceful protests, which is their freedom to do.
Let me pause for a moment here. Daryl, the last few moments were breaking up there. I've been watching the camera, not the screen. Is the rest of it okay? Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, just the last few moments there broke up, but that's no problem. Let me. I just have a couple more questions here for you, Representative. As a state lawmaker, as the representative for this university in the House of Representatives, do you have any recourse, anything you'd like to see happen now?
I would like our university president, President Hartzell, to put the interests of students and staff ahead of the political whims of the governor. We have had presidents stand up to politicians for many, many years. I think of President Powers, who stood up to Rick Perry's appointees who pushed on him to do things he believed were not in the interest of the university. He stood up for staff and he stood up for students in any university of what is a great nationally renowned institution like UT needs to have the back of students and staff and put their interests first. And that is what I need to see from the president of the university.
Representative, the Wednesday event was what it was with the law enforcement there. The Thursday event was much larger than what we saw on Wednesday, but there really wasn't the same kind of police presence. Any idea why that is? What do you make of that?
I don't know. All I can hope is that with all the backlash that the university and the governor got for his heavy-handedness with our students, that it gave them pause from going in such a big way this time. That's what I hope, but I don't know.
Many of these students were wanting the university, like the other protesters across the country, to divest all investments with Israeli companies. Any idea how much the university has with Israeli companies, how much investment it has?
You know, what's interesting is that's what I thought the protest was about too, but upon engaging a little bit more, what I heard was wanting the university to divest of its contracts with weapon makers. So I'm not exactly sure what the underlying issue was. And actually, I don't care what it was. It could have been protesting green jello. They have a right to protest so long as there's not a threat of violence, which there is none that I know of. They have the freedom to speak their minds.
Last question for you. The campus at UT has been home to protests for decades. Why do you think this one was different?
I think we have a governor who is eager to prove up his MAGA credentials in the national spotlight for whatever reason that is. I honestly don't even know what the reason is, but there seems to be this relentless push on the part of the governor to prove that he is more MAGA than any Republican politician. We see it play out repeatedly. And my one ask of the university is that it not get caught up in that show.
Did you share that with the president when you spoke with him?
I sure did.
Representative, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.